her loss to President-elect Trump. And Black WNBA star Asia Wilson is reportedly signing a historic extension with Nike. ESPN reports the Las Vegas Aces player has agreed to a 6-year extension with the sports apparel giant and one of the richest shoe deals for a women's basketball player. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
New Schools for New Orleans wants to send a huge congratulations to all of our educators, students, and families of New Orleans for their continuous academic growth. School performance scores have been released from the state. For the first time in many years, there are no failing schools in New Orleans Public Schools. As a district, our performance increased by 4 points. In addition, Orleans Parish now exceeds pre-COVID school performance score for all students by 6.2 points. When you see a teacher, school leader, or student, be sure to show them some love.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, New Orleans. Wake up. Happy Thursday, y'all. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. My super producer, Nyra Sanders, is behind the glass, holding us all together. OT, wherever you are, we miss you this way. But happy Thursday, everybody. It's almost the end of the week. I just remembered and thinking about the day. Oliver didn't even mention his favorite day yesterday was Hump Day. He normally does. But we're already at Thursday, headed into Friday. I don't know what your plans are for the weekend, but mine are to rest. I am tired. So tired. But happy Thursday, y'all. I wanted to start off the conversation with offering my condolences to the family of the Cox worker who was gunned down. I can only assume trying to do his job. The police have labeled a person of interest or a suspect as he's being labeled in the media. They're searching for 28-year-old Jaleel Williams. He's been sought on charges of second-degree murder. Adam Brown, a Cox employee, was shot Monday afternoon in New Orleans East, and he died at the hospital. According to the New Orleans Police Department, the shooting happened in the 8,000 block of Dwyer Road around 12:27 p.m. Detectives determined the shooting occurred during the commission of an attempted armed robbery, and they were able to identify Williams as the alleged shooter. One of the articles that I read said that he was trying to steal wiring from the employee. I'm not certain what his motivations were, but it's always so tragic when folk are just trying to earn a living and somehow chaos and confusion finds them. And so our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Adam Brown and the entire Cox family, because we all know when you work side by side with someone and something as tragic as this happens, everyone feels it. So not only just his family and friends and loved ones, but also his colleagues and those he communed with over at Cox. And so it's extremely sad, but they've already identified a person of interest, or a suspect rather, 28-year-old Jaleel Williams. His picture is out there. So my thoughts and prayers, the entire thoughts and prayers of the WBOK family are with the family, friends, and colleagues of Adam Brown, who was abruptly taken from us just trying to do his job. I said that to say that, even when we are seeing, some progress in terms of crime in our communities, there's always this jolting feeling that around the holidays is pretty much the worst time that things like this can happen, because it's just hard to adjust to being in any sort of, festive spirit when you have to deal with the sudden and abrupt death of a loved one. And so much like we felt about the untimely death of the two young ladies from West Jefferson High School, this too is such a sad and unfortunate event. I would like to know more about the third child that was in the car. I haven't heard much about it. I just know that the child was still in the hospital. So I'm hoping and praying that that is a good sign that that person is recovering and is going to make a full recovery. But to anyone out there dealing with the sudden and abrupt passing of a loved one during this time, our thoughts and prayers are with you. I have a friend right now. They are watching their father transition in real time, and so she knows who she is. And I want to also let her know that we're thinking about her and her family during this time, because it's not much else the medical field can do for him. It's just a matter of, when he's ready. And so they're preparing for him to transition as peacefully as possible. But anybody dealing with the loss of a loved one during this season, our hearts and prayers go out to you. Much like in Madison, Wisconsin, they're dealing with a school shooting. We kind of briefly touched on this this week, but I wanted to talk about it because the media and the coverage of it is a tad bit odd to me. And there's some stories coming out that the school shooter, the Wisconsin school shooter, that's what the headline says, And the odd thing about it is there's a picture of the school, not of the shooter. It's a school picture of the actual building. And it says Wisconsin school shooter was in contact with a California man accused of planning a separate attack. And so the article that I read when I was investigating this story simply said that the person who the shooter was in contact with was actually planning a separate attack on the government. And the only thing that I saw, the only penalty that I saw per the article is that he had to forfeit his guns. He had to turn over his weapons. And I'm just a little on the confusion side of things, because it's like, wait, what? It says unanswered questions remain about a fatal shooting at a Madison, Wisconsin private school as new details emerge about the shooter's family life and possible ties to a California man who, according to the Associated Press, allegedly planned to carry out a mass shooting at a government building. Investigators are also going through social media and documents to understand why and how a 15-year-old freshman, Natalie Rupnow, who went by the name Samantha, obtained a firearm and attacked her peers and teachers Monday at Abundant Life Christian School. Aaron Mitchell West, 42, of DeForest, and Ruby Patricia Vergara, 14, of Madison, were both pronounced dead at the scene of the shooting, the Dane County Medical Examiner's Office said in a news release on Wednesday. 6 people were injured. So we have 2 deaths, 6 injured, and nowhere in the article is it being referred to as a mass shooting. I'm trying to understand the language here. I'm trying to understand the coverage here. And this is the conversation I always enjoy having, because when folk try to tell you, y'all make everything about race. Yeah, because it is. It absolutely is. And until you can show me where it's not, then don't try to debunk my perspective. Just tell me what yours is. If we're calling mass shootings, because last I checked here, it was what, 4? 4, I think, Naren, wasn't it 4? At least 4? 4 or more, there was a mass shooting. I think that's what they were saying, right? They categorized it as a mass shooting. Might even be 3. I'm going to look it up. But if there are 6 wounded people and 2 dead people, then I know guaranteed that's more than 3 and it's more than 4. So if we are, like, what is the uniform definition of a mass shooting? Because I'm not understanding why it's not being referred to as a mass shooting. I'm not understanding why we only confiscate the guns of a man that was planning an attack on the government. And I'm not understanding why they're framing this young lady like she's just some sort of, misguided 15-year-old. She took a gun to school and she carried out a mass shooting against people she saw every single day. Whatever her issues are, we need to handle this like a mass shooting. We need to handle her like a domestic terrorist. And then that, to me, would deter a lot of folks from picking up guns, walking into schools, shooting innocent children. That would also put some pressure on our politicians in terms of common sense gun control. It would also put some pressure on politicians who take money from the NRA to look the other way when their weapons are the catalyst for a lot of this bloodshed that we're seeing. Even in our city, there are weapons in this city that I'm confused about how they're getting here. Like, how are 15-year-old children, 16, 17-year-old children carrying weaponry that looks like it belongs in our defense, like the national defense of the country? Like, why do we have guns that can shoot so many bullets per minute? Why do we have things where we can change handguns to automatic? Like, why do we have that? I don't know. I don't know why we have that in everyday life. I don't know why it is so easy in this country for a 15-year-old high school student to put her hands on a weapon and walk into her school undetected and shoot it up. Something about that is really, it really has me in my mind of, like, what are we doing here as a country? Like, what are we doing here? And there's no real effort to put together any legislation that makes the idea of shooting up a school, the idea of it, so scary that you won't pick up a gun and you won't think about doing it. But, I mean, we have mass school shootings so frequently now that it's normalized in a country where humanity just doesn't seem to be like a top priority. We have not gotten to a point where we honor the lives of our children, and that is, to me, the saddest thing about this country. Like, kids are dying, and we still haven't figured out how to put together common sense gun control, common sense gun legislation, so that things like this will be harder to do. But we seem to have found our way to make other crimes adult crimes, and we figured out in Louisiana how to lower the age to consider a child an adult, to send them to adult prison for crimes that don't even rise to the level of a school shooting. So I wonder if they're going to look at this 15-year-old as an adult. I wonder if they're going to charge her, for the actual crime that she committed by wounding 6 people and killing 2 at her high school. This is a conversation that I do not mind having. We'll continue that and a whole lot more on the other side of the break. And if you want to join the conversation, the number here is 504-582-9422. Stay with us right here. WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
Start your day off right.
Just getting your day started.
Early morning gospel on WBOK 1230 AM.
NOLA Public Schools' main round enrollment for kindergarten through 12th grade is now open. With 73 schools available through the NOLA Public Schools Common Application Process, or NCAP, finding the right school fit for your family is easier than ever. List up to 12 choices to maximize your chances and apply by January 24th. We're all in, and we hope you are too. Apply today at enrollnolaps.com. That's enrollnolaps.com.
Join the conversation Friday, December 20th, with Calvin Luster from Homebank during the Good Morning Show at 8:30 a.m. Don't miss Calvin Luster from Homebank live on the Good Morning Show Friday, December 20th at 8:30 a.m.
This holiday season, are you looking for the perfect phones and accessories for your family? Stop by the only black-owned AT&T franchise in the Gulf Coast region, located at 3616 South Carrollton Ave. We also have great offers on watches and tablets. When you add a new line or upgrade whatever your needs, our team is here to help you find the perfect phone for everyone on your list. Visit us at 3616 South Carrollton Ave. Happy holidays from your local family-owned AT&T store.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
WBOK is pleased to announce the reboot of Crosstown Conversations with host Gene Nathan, a heightened focus on cultural entertainment events and the creators who present them. The new time is now Saturday at noon. Tune into the stories of our exploding creative scene with Gene Nathan on Crosstown Conversations.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 1230 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Parents, are you looking for a school where your child can excel? Look no further than Inspire NOLA Schools, home of the highest performing open enrollment schools in New Orleans. At Inspire NOLA, we believe in nurturing every student's potential, providing an excellent education, and supporting their journey to success. Enroll today for the 2025-2026 school year. Visit enrollnolaps.com to get started and learn more about our schools and programs at inspirenolaschools.org. Join the Inspire NOLA family, where excellence is our standard.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Borrowing a line from Blazing Saddles, one of the funniest movies I have ever seen, what in the wide world of sports is going on with the Orleans Parish school system? News comes that the Dolores Taylor Arthur Charter School for Boys is closing its doors this month in the middle of the school year. That means 19 seniors have to find a new school or they won't graduate. Now, the school is suffering and shutting down due to financial constraints, we're told. The school cannot pay faculty and staff. The students feel betrayed. The parents are angry and bewildered. One parent told me that some students are talking about dropping out. How did this fiasco happen? One education expert told me it all boiled down to the population demographics. There aren't enough students for the school to function financially. The numbers at Dolores Taylor Arthur Charter School are a glaring example of that. Get this, there are only 98 students enrolled at the whole school. Low enrollment numbers have become increasingly challenging for other schools in Orleans Parish. There has been a 20% decline in the number of students since 2014. Furthermore, the overall population in Orleans Parish, according to census data, the population now is 25% lower than it was pre-Katrina. Add to that a 20% decline in the birth rate and out-migration. Taking those statistics into account, opening additional charter schools stand a high risk of failure. A former school board member told me that given what we know about the low enrollment demographics, Dolores Taylor Arthur Charter School and several other schools should not have been allowed to open in the first place. But get this, ironically, it was the Orleans Parish School Administration that granted the charter, allowing the schools to open in the first place. Talk about catch-22. As for the 19 seniors at Dolores Taylor Arthur School, there was a meeting with all charter leaders, and it's expected that at least one school will step up and offer to accept all students. Surely the Orleans Parish School Board wouldn't hang these kids out to dry, would they? That would be totally unconscionable. Let them know we're watching. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Hello, WBOK family. This is Hannah Stottmeyer, your intern, and I just want to wish you a happy holiday along with a happy new year. And just enjoy this time with your family and friends and just be grateful for everything you have.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
We are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. My super producer, Nyron Sanders, is behind the glass holding us all together. Let me tell you what I love the most about being on this microphone every morning. The WBOK listening audience are some of the smartest people that I know. They're so well informed because this article that I was reading based on the shooting of the school in Madison, Wisconsin, said nothing about the school shooter committing suicide, but someone in the comments said she killed herself. She committed suicide, charged the parents. And so I think it's odd that that wasn't mentioned in this article, but because I'm looking at it, I don't see it mentioned here. But they alluded to something at the bottom of it, right? They were talking about the Wisconsin law and how they're taking steps to hold parents accountable, providing their children with firearms they will go on to use in school shootings. Two such cases include school shootings in Oxford, Michigan High School in 2021 and Winder, Georgia High School in September. And so they're alluding to talking about charging the parents, but I didn't see any mention that the young lady committed suicide. And I still stand by everything I say, even knowing, possibly knowing that she committed suicide. I still don't like the coverage of her. I don't like this, this picture they're painting like she was just some wayward child. Like she picked up a firearm, she went into her school, and she committed a mass shooting. And we should handle it and talk about it as such. And now we should pivot to talking about why her father thought it was okay to give her guns. He took her shooting at the range and everything at 15 years old. And there was no real monitoring of the weaponry in the house, clearly, because she was able to put it in her bag and take it to school and shoot up her school. So this is the conversation that we're having. Parents are now being held accountable when they give their child or children access to guns, and those guns are then used in school shootings. We have a caller on line one. Good morning, Coleman. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Holidays to all those that's up at this time, and wishing them well, and also a Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Now, let's get down to some serious conversation. I'm a 78-year-old man, so I'm going to apologize for my generation. We dropped the ball, and the ball been falling ever since. We let I'm going to say two people, take prayer out of the school. We let two more people take discipline out of the school. That's a complaint to the attorney. And you can put the judge in it as well. See, when you erode a society, I call it the dumbing down of America. We have lost some of raising our children correctly. We came up, you had to go to church. It was no choice, I'll put it to you like that. And the same thing with wants. As a child, you don't have no wants. You have needs. And when your parents meet your needs, that's it. It may not be to our liking, but that's what it was. The parent and community was in charge of the community. But now we have a sick community that's afraid to really tell a child not to do anything or even tell their parents. And this dumbing down is the America downfall. In fact, it is and it shall be. Because look at the election, one half of this country voted for a criminal. And I don't need to go into all the charges that he's been convicted of by his peers. They still think it's all right for a person like that to represent America, as great as we once was. That the world is laughing at us for letting this situation occur. It's just unimaginable that he should even been allowed to run to represent this country. And other thing we can be overlooking, these games the children play, video games, they're very violent. And when you get numb to, or either you get excited about destroying stuff. You can hear the news, the kids just knock down people Christmas decoration, or they just do something, break something just to break it. That's not normal in a child's life. And just for the other part of the conversation, in rural areas, children exposed to guns is a way of life that you come up with guns. Look at the movies that we look at. A lot of movies are very destructive. You don't have movies like we had, more life-type movies that we came up with, how you navigate in a problem situation. But children should not be allowed to drop out of school either, because that creates another problem. We as a country have permitted dysfunction to be normal. and it should not be normal.
I agree.
So
I agree, Coleman.
those are
Thank
some
you.
things that we need to try to correct. If we don't, it's gonna be more of the same.
I appreciate your commentary. Thank you for calling in this morning.
Oh.
Listen, I definitely agree. I think that dysfunction is normalized, and it's all, to me, trauma responses. I think a lot of us are walking around in need of resources, in need of help, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, and we avoid going and getting the help because we don't want people to know we need help. And that's the catch-22 there. Like, in order for a symptom to be identified, you have to first admit that there's a problem or that you don't feel right about something. And I'll say this again, I do believe that children are redeemable. I do not ever advocate for the throwing away of kids. But what I have a problem with is this tale of two judicial systems. There's no way that if the demographics were different, right, that this person will be talked about in such a soft manner, right? Even the pictures they're putting out of her, they don't make her look like she's some psychopath, that just went on a rampage and killed folk. They have her holding a puppy. What image, like what message is that imagery sending? When she picked up a gun and went into a school and killed folk and wounded additional people, but we're not even talking about her as if she's, some sort of criminal or some sort of, issue that needs to be dealt with the way we talk about Black children, right? In our state, we are lowering the age to charge children as adults for crimes that don't even rise to a mass shooting. But in Wisconsin, we have a young 15-year-old white girl went into her school and shot up everybody and then decided to kill herself, I'm being told. And they're not even talking about that. Like, nobody's talking about the NRA. Nobody's talking about the governmental officials who take money from the NRA to turn a blind eye to school shootings. This is, to me, an epidemic, and we need to call it what it is. And there should be common sense gun control. Like, how many more schools have to be shot up? How many more children have to die? How many more teachers have to put their lives in danger to save their students because our government doesn't see domestic terrorism as domestic terrorism? We don't see it as an epidemic. We don't see it as a problem because the NRA is lining the pockets of your politicians and they're quiet about it. That's what's happening here, in my opinion, anyway. Good morning, Elmore. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
First, I'd like to wish you a very prosperous, joyful Christmas, New Year's, and I'd like to wish a Merry Christmas to the listening audience. That's some very good comments you're making, and I've seen something that sounds kind of cool, but I really mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The epidemic with guns, and when it deals with white society in general, it's sad that to the point where I said one time, I said, I'm going to say something that sounds cool, but I really mean what I said. That how many white kids going to have to die before white folks really realize they got to do something? But you know what? I came to this one conclusion, young lady. I'm being very honest with you. It's sad for me to admit something that it's the truth. I don't think they really give a you know what, because if they did, they'd do something.
Oh, I'm with you. I just think that the money is the motive, right? You ever heard Lil Wayne say the money is the motive? He said that in the song, right? The money is the motive. They're turning a blind eye to it because it's lucrative, right? It pays for their yachts and their summer homes and their vacation properties, right? That's what it pays for. And they don't look at it as children dying. They just look at it like my yacht, my vacation home. That's the way they see it. Children are dying so that you can live well. And it's sickening and it's sad. It really is.
Well, the thing that I have heated debates. I'm a Vietnam vet, and I have heated debates with white men because they have a thing where, we have a right to bear arms. And I say, yes, sir, you do. I say, but let me ask you something. I say, how old are you? They say, I'm 45, but I'm 74 years old. I said, let me tell you something. I said, you understand American history? I said, well, again, the United States Constitution, Bill of Rights, when they had the right to bear arms, the understanding, the premise was that because America didn't have society we live in, there with law enforcement agencies all over the place. So they want you to have the right, young lady. If you lived in a land where forestry area, you had people roaming all over, that they were in to give you the right to protect yourself. Well, again, American people have arms that armies don't even have. American people have enough weapons to supply armies. Now that's kind of ridiculous, huh? But that's what you're doing, you know.
I appreciate you, Elmore. Thank you for your call this morning.
And thank you for giving me an opportunity to have again. I don't call you that much, but it's a pleasure to hear from you. And have a blessed Christmas again, young lady.
You too, Elmore. Listen, when we talk about the right to bear arms, you have a constitutional right to bear arms, but you bearing arms should not infringe on the safety of other folk. And when you're putting people's lives in jeopardy just so that you can own your gun, we have to start rethinking this idea of common sense gun control. Bearing arms doesn't mean you bear them in a school and shoot up innocent folk. And when those things are happening, then our legislators, our politicians, our governments should be able to put partisan aside and come together and say, this is an epidemic and treat it as such. You ought to treat it the same way you treated COVID-19, right? Treat it the same way you're going to treat bird flu because, you know, there's a case of bird flu in Louisiana now that nobody's talking about, right? You treat it like anything else that is encompassing and harming a whole bunch of folk at one time. And mass shootings have taken the lives of so many people, and we still have not put any legislation in place that makes folks even fearful of bringing guns into our schools. And I think it's all because it's profitable for people who don't want to stand against or who don't want to stand for common sense gun control. Good morning, Vincent. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Hey, good morning, Dr. Asante. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Okay, good. Good morning. So to your point, your commentary, I was listening to someone on YouTube. His name is Professor Black Truth, and it's called The Moment of Truth. And he talked about this subject exclusively yesterday. Mm-hmm. And at the 11-minute mark, he goes into how, at a certain age, white children at 13 or 14, at that age, they're exposed to, I guess, the realities of the world with, white privilege. And, he said that some parents at that age with children are very direct at that point with the power that they have and the privilege that they have. And it may be a trend, but, usually around 13, 14 years old, when they're in high school or junior high and they have access to guns, then something in their mind, like, kind of clicks or changes, you know what I mean? And he also linked like you said, trench coats. Well, I don't know if you said this yesterday, trench coats mafia, like the Columbine incident.
Yes.
They all listen to the same music group. Is a link, you know what I mean? So is actually a genre of mindset and habits that these school shooters have. So It's just very interesting. If you could check that out, maybe on your break or whatever, I just implore you to look at Professor Black Truth. And at the 11-minute mark, he talks about that.
Thank you, Vincent. And since you're giving me homework, I want you to go check out Karen Hunter's podcast. That's her name, Karen Hunter. Check it out, and let's talk about it. But thank you for your call this morning. Happy holidays.
Same to you.
So listen, I am just kind of floored about the direction this country is going in terms of what we prioritize and what we don't. And when I have conversations, trust me, they're linear, because I talked about the school shooting simply because there doesn't seem to be a bipartisan effort to do something about this epidemic. This is domestic terrorism if there's no other definition of it. And nobody's labeled it as that, and nobody treats it as such. But yet and still, when you go into predominantly black communities, you see this very tough on crime, these very tough on crime legislations, but there's nothing I've ever seen that comes anywhere close to what should be happening around gun control and mass shootings and school shootings. I've not seen anything. And the weird thing about that is they've come together a bipartisan effort to try to ban TikTok. And what's crazy about it is, and I like Hakeem Jeffries out of New York, but this is what he said. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat from New York, said in a statement, the legislation to ban TikTok was designed to address legitimate national security and privacy concerns. Senator Maria Cantwell, a Democrat from Washington, she said it was done to prevent foreign adversaries from conducting espionage, surveillance, malign operations, harming vulnerable Americans, our servicemen and women, and our U.S. government and personnel. I could take that same quote and attach it to school shootings. Because if you're not harming vulnerable Americans, which are our children, if you're not putting people's lives in danger by not creating some bipartisan effort to stand against mass shootings, particularly school shootings, but you can come together to ban TikTok. And, even though they said it's to address legitimate national security and privacy concerns, that's what they're saying. Maybe they know something they don't want to tell us. But I do know that platform is the fastest way to inform people about what is happening. People who don't watch, traditional media, people who don't listen to talk radio, right? People who don't log into podcasts. The generation that you're trying to get interested in voting, they're on TikTok. They're there, right? And every day somebody's going viral on TikTok because people are tuning in and clicking a button and liking and sharing. So just imagine if you put real information on TikTok. If you gave them real information, what will happen? So I don't know if this is designed to address legitimate national security or privacy concerns, or if it's about suppressing information, because a lot of the folk on TikTok are uncovering injustices. They're talking about crimes that happen in small town America that nobody knows about. They're talking about the hanging of black men in these small, rural, predominantly white towns that the main media isn't covering. I don't know, but I think for the Senate to come together with an 80-19 vote to pass the bill to ban TikTok, but we're not talking about some legislation to address mass shootings, particularly around school shootings, common sense gun control, then what are we actually doing as a government? Because what's more important, an app or the fact that a 15-year-old high school student put her hands on a weapon and walked into her school undetected and shot multiple people, killing 2 of them, and now I'm being told she killed herself? What are we doing here as a country if we're prioritizing an app and not the lives of our children? How many more school shootings have to happen? And these shooters are taking the lives of white children in white America. So, the money must be real good to turn a blind eye to that. It's about their yachts and their vacation homes, people. It's about nothing else. It's about buying their children's way into the most prestigious universities. That's what it's about. Living well while people are dying. And we're electing people who turn a blind eye because it's lucrative for them. So they can smoke on the best of cigars and join the best country clubs. We have to go to break, but we'll continue this conversation. The number here is 504-582-9422. We'll have that and a whole lot more. On the other side of the break, we'll talk to Rosalie from the NOLA Christmas Fest. Stay with us, WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
This is your news update for WBOK 1230 AM from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Expect to see gradually clearing skies. Today is cooler than yesterday, partly cloudy this afternoon with highs in the mid-60s, so near average for this time of the year. Winds 5 to 10 miles per hour from the north. Tonight, partly cloudy, lows in the 40s. 60s again for Friday, but even cooler this weekend with highs in the 50s as another front passes. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Risha.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Wherever we go, we never forget where we came from. The river parishes tell a story unlike any any other. Join Rise St. James for Home for the Holidays, a celebration of our shared heritage, including the historic Orange Grove and Buena Vista plantations. Hear stories of resilience, connect with descendants, scholars, and community members, preserve our legacy, honor our ancestors, build a sustainable future. Join the conversation at risestjames.org/holidays. Rise St. James. Together, we rise.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Keep up with NOLA Public Schools through Education Elevation. Education Elevation will highlight the achievements, innovations, and contributions of scholars, educators, schools, and the district. Tune in every fourth Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. for engaging conversations and updates as we strengthen connections and support the needs of our scholars. Mark your calendars for every fourth Wednesday at 11:30 a.m.
This is your Saints Hall of Famer, Tyrone Hughes. Want to wish the whole WBOK audience happy holidays.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 1230 AM.
We are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta White. My super producer, Nyra Sanders, is behind the glass, holding it down for all of us. Prior to going to break, we were talking about the government's intent to ban TikTok. And I told y'all the WBOK listening audience is so brilliant. One of our listeners says it's not TikTok itself, but the use by the Chinese government to gather intelligence and information to be used against us as a nation. So let's go with that, right? Let's say that's what the whole banning of TikTok is about. So then my question would be, what's going on with Facebook and Instagram and all the other platforms? Because we know they all data dive. We all know they're storing data on all of us somewhere and selling it, and doing whatever it is that they do to make themselves more profitable. I mean, they breach our privacy all the time. So if it's really about believing that the Chinese are data diving and making it some sort of safety issue for the country, is it because the founders of TikTok are Chinese, or is it what is it about? Because what I do know is the version of TikTok we get isn't the version that's being done in China, right? The Chinese version that they feed to their population is more on a higher order of thinking. They don't feed them the garbage that they allow on the platform that is TikTok for this country. But somebody had to okay this to start with. Did they not weigh the pros and cons when they, gave them the green light to operate? I just hate that we're on the backside of this trying now to ban it when it's been in operation already. So whatever they were trying to do, I'm sure they've had nothing but time to get it done. So I don't know. But what I'm saying is they could have a real legitimate concern about TikTok. Real legitimate concern. It could absolutely be about the safety of the country and, privacy and national security. It could very well be about that. But guess what else is a grave concern? Mass shootings, shooting up schools. So if we could come together bipartisan, 80-19, to pass this bill to protect the legitimate national security and privacy concerns, we could also come together bipartisan and protect the lives of our children in our schools, since we're have not done anything, to do so. There's no real legislation. There's no real policy. There's no real, anything with teeth, really, to deter people from doing this. And it continues to happen. And how many more Sandy Hooks do we have to have before we come together and say this is a real issue? But again, I me, I believe that when people are slow to come up with a solution, is because they are slow to take away their profit margin from not doing something to stop this thing, right? I think it's lucrative. I think the NRA is so deep in the political scene in terms of donors that it's hard for these folk to turn a blind eye to that money, or to say, no, I don't want it. I want to do what's right for the American people. I think that's hard for them because it's about power and it's about living well, even at the expense of dead white children. I mean, that's just what it is. What you say, DJ? Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning, Dr. Wyatt. Okay, I'm gonna push back a little bit on this morning. The thing is, there's no way for people to. You can't legislate getting rid of mass shootings. It's just not possible. So you're asking for something that's not possible. You cannot stop someone from waking up one morning and deciding that they want to shoot some or they want to do this. There's no legislation in the world that will be able to prevent that from happening. You're not going to be able to take away all the people's guns that they have in the country. It's not humanly possible. White folks are not going to let you take away their guns. It's going to be another civil war, so you can scratch that off the list. So that's essentially just not going to happen. Illinois has some of the strictest gun laws there is, but look at all the killings and shootings that happens there. So we're pretty much at a loss with regards to legislating, trying to prevent mass shootings. I mean, I'm of the idea that guns don't kill people, that people actually kill people. So you have to work on the people, and before you try to legislate some type of mass shooting referendum that essentially you won't be able to control at all. And with regards to TikTok, I'm a big fan of TikTok, and there must be some type of underling with regards to what it is that has the legislative so afraid of China. But Congressman Carter voted against TikTok, so I mean he may be a person that you may want to pull aside and see if you can get some sort of insight with regards to why that is, because like you said, TikTok is a huge tool that people use. A lot of people have quit their jobs based upon the income that they're able to make on TikTok. So it's and also a huge part of it, like you said, it's a tool where you get to hear of all those stories of things that happen to Black people across the country that mainstream media don't allow you to hear. So I think it's a major tool. Hopefully they can figure this thing out. Maybe Trump can save it. I don't know. But it's definitely has become a major part of America that I think it definitely needs to stay. And I think that's what they're afraid of, that America has been so ingrained in TikTok. It's become the part of the fabric of America. And for China to have such a huge influence on that, they're definitely afraid, but they're not afraid of China buying up everything in America, but they're just afraid of TikTok, I guess. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, DJ. I appreciate you.
Have a good day.
Happy holidays. Listen, I have a push for DJ. We have to go to break, but nobody's asking to take away people's guns. We know that I'm a gun owner. I don't want anybody to take away my gun. What I'm asking for is common sense gun control laws. And we do know our neighbors in Canada have common sense gun control laws. We could always say what we can't do. What I do respect about Republicans, what I do respect about them, they don't ever think about what they can't do. They just do what they want to do. And if you want to do it, you find a way to do it. That's what I respect about them. Like that's, they want to get a president of their choosing. They got one, right? They want to ban critical race theory. They figured out how to make it seem like it's just this scary thing, right? All across this country, we're banning books and burning books because that's what they wanted. I more often than not, people always want to tell us what can't be done. And one thing I can respect about the Republicans, when they decide it's something that they want, they eliminate all of the reasons why they can't, and they figure out how to get it done. We want common sense gun control. I don't want you to take away people's guns and their right to bear arms. I'm a gun owner. But we have to figure out a way to make this a safer place for our children. We have to go to break. pay a few bills. But when we come back, I have more to say on this issue. Stay with us. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
WBOK 1230 AM New Orleans. Home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Luigi Mangione is waiving extradition. Reports say he could be transferred from Pennsylvania and be back in New York City by tomorrow. He's facing murder and terrorism charges in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. President-elect Trump is nominating former black NFL player and Georgia Senate candidate Herschel Walker as ambassador to the Bahamas. Trump posted on social media that Walker has spent decades serving as an ambassador to our nation's youth, military service members, and athletes. A New York City judge is denying Black Mayor Eric Adams' attempt at dismissing one of the federal corruption charges he's facing. Manhattan Federal Court Judge Dale Ho is disagreeing with Adams' claim that the allegation does not meet the legal standard for bribery. And the already massive Mega Millions jackpot is getting even bigger. Tuesday night's grand prize went unclaimed, making the next drawing coming up on Friday worth at least $825 million. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
New Schools for New Orleans wants to send a huge congratulations to all of our educators, students, and families of New Orleans for their continuous academic growth. School performance scores have been released from the state. For the first time in many years, there are no failing schools in New Orleans Public Schools. As a district, our performance increased by 4 points. In addition, Orleans Parish now exceeds pre-COVID school performance score for all students by 6.2 points. When you see a teacher, school leader, or student, be sure to show them some love.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 1230 AM.
Back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta White. My super producer, Nyron Sanders, is behind the glass holding us all together. And the WBOK listening audience is tapped in. They're calling with such good insight. And, you know, I enjoy perspective here at WBOK. And look who's online, too. Good morning, Larry. Happy holidays.
Hey, Dr. White. How you doing, darling?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, this is a capitalistic society, and capitalist means profit, money, how to capitalize. So if that's what it's run on, and it's been that way since they moved here, not moved, when they came here from England, you know, with the way they treated the Indians, everything was about the money. We had the war between the states. That wasn't about, it was about the monies slaves for them. So why do we seem to be so, like, say, wow, why is America been that way? Capitalism is not synonymous with morals, not synonymous with morals. So we know that. So the moralistic thing to do is like, hey, we got to do something about all these guns. Some kind of way we're going to have to do something about them because they're killing white children. You know, if that was the case, it would have did something long ago, but there's too much money involved in it.
Yeah, it is.
So if this is a capitalistic society, Dr. Wise, why do we expect anything different? At the end of the day, when these corporations meet every quarterly to discuss the finances, like how much you done made, your stocks and shares, if it's in the black, it's okay. But once they get into the red, they got something about that. So these people aren't playing games. They are who they are. And you know what I found out about you, Dr. Wise?
What did you?
You and I got more kindred spirit than you think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I heard you ran track, right?
I did.
I think you mentioned a little bit about your mother ran track, didn't she?
She did.
She
She's
ran with Pam Giles?
Yes, she did. Absolutely. Under Coach Kokomo.
Yeah, Kokomo. Look, my wife is back here laughing. Now you touched the nerve. Now Kokomo was my daughter's coach.
Mm-hmm.
But my niece ran for LSU because Pam Giles recruited her.
Oh, wow.
She ran a half a mile. But my daughter ran in the Junior Olympics before Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
She made it to the Junior Olympics, Miss Wise, Dr. Wise.
Mm-hmm.
And she made it to the finals. She finished sixth. But around the city, some of the parishes, she ran at these parks and set records.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Jaha Wilson. She ran 100 meters. In fact, she was the fastest thing at Carr.
Oh.
She went to Carr, man.
I need to know her. She's
yeah,
Cougar
you should
family.
know her. Kokomo was her coach. Coach Hardy was the coach at the time.
Coach Hardy was my coach as well, and Coach Hardy is also my baby's grandfather.
Guess what happened to my daughter, Miss Wise? She was at St. Mary's, but Kokomo recruited her to go to Carr because of Mr. Hardy.
Yes.
But as soon as she got there, he left.
Oh.
My daughter was so disheartened, but she was the fastest thing at Carr. And she set records in some of these parks around around the state. One in Port Allen and somewhere else where she set the record for the fastest girl in 100 meters. And so I said to myself, it's something else I like about Dr. Wise. But since you were into track, but I know you said you got a scholarship in volleyball.
Yes.
And you ran that 400 meters, right?
I did, yes. And I anchored all of our relays under Coach Hardy. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you couldn't get my daughter to run that 400. She said, Daddy, that's like death.
Mm-hmm.
She said no. But she ran 102. And she was the fastest thing at Carr her junior and senior year.
I'm gonna call Coach Hardy when I get off this air today, and I'm gonna ask him about her so we can see what's up.
And if you still have communication with Kokomo, ex-Kokomo about her.
I do. That's my mother's coach. He actually coached my son too at New Era for 1 year before my son went to Sprint NOLA. My son also went to the Junior Olympics. So yes,
my daughter ran with New Era.
Yes. Listen, look at that small world. But look, Larry, I'm gonna get your number because this sounds like a conversation we have to have off air. we gotta get back to the WBOK business. But happy holidays. I always appreciate
you, darling.
Absolutely. Listen, around here, you get to talking to people like family, you forget you at work. We're at work, Larry. But the conversation has to be one about what we can do as opposed to what we can't do. And here's the thing about Canada versus American gun laws, right? And if you read this article, it's Austin Hansen, and it's from the Eagle Times, and they show the juxtaposition between Canada and America, and how easy it is in America to get a gun and the restrictive nature of owning a gun in Canada. And that's all we're asking for. We're not trying to strip you of your gun. We're just saying that there should be a more restrictive way for people to possess guns. There should be a better way to track who has guns, who owns guns, how they can get their hands on guns. And we just don't have that here. Like it says, to begin the process of owning a gun in Canada, you must be 18 years old, have no previous felonies or violent misdemeanors, and have a possession and acquisition license, which is called a PAL, to be able to buy or possess any firearm or ammunition. Getting a PAL is not easy. You must hire a registered instructor to take an 8-hour training session. Additionally, you must pass a 90-minute written and practical test, costing anywhere from $139 to $268, depending on the class of the firearm, according to the Canadian International Tactical Training Academy. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police also require a minimum of 45 days to process a firearm license application, followed by a 28-day minimum waiting period for all applicants who do not presently hold a valid firearms license. The intensive process of getting a gun in Canada is a stark contrast to the process in America. In America, no guns are outright banned, but also are more heavily restricted, specifically semi-automatic firearms that count as assault weapons according to the Sandy Hook Promise. To own a gun, you must be at least 18 years old, have no previous federal felonies or violent misdemeanors, and depending on the state, have a permit and a live fire training session. However, only 21 of the 50 states require a permit before getting a gun, and only 14 of the 50 states require a live fire training session according to the Trace. Under federal law, you can get a gun on the same day in some states, and there is no waiting period. That sounds dangerous in and of itself for folk to just walk in, go buy a gun, and somebody hand it to them same day. No background check, no mental health evaluation, just nothing. Just walk in. You have enough money, you can have a gun, and you can walk out same day. In America, Pew Research reported 48,830 gun-related deaths, 20,958 murders, 26,328 suicides, 549 accidental, 537 involving law enforcement, and 458 undetermined. Overall, stricter Canadian gun laws proved to be more effective at preventing deaths involving firearms, with 11 times more American deaths a year than Canadian deaths. It is clear that gun regulations are essential to preventing avoidable and unnecessary tragedies. So again, let's be very clear. Nobody is trying to infringe on your Second Amendment right. Nobody wants to take away your right to bear arms. But when your right to bear arms infringes upon the safety of innocent people, if you can just get a gun same day, walk into a grocery store and start shooting it up, or walking into a church during worship, pray with folk and start shooting them, or taking a gun to your school and open fire on innocent teachers and children, then we have to go back to the drawing board and see what can we do to best protect the people who we are supposed to serve. That's all. Like, I don't want you to tell me about what we can't do. No disrespect to anyone. But folk find their way around can't all the time. They figure it out because they're focused on the goal and the mission. And so that the mission is common sense gun legislation. I understand we can't legislate our way out of people deciding what to do. But if we make it harder to possess guns, if we make it scarier to commit crimes, right, as they're doing here in Louisiana with our children, because see, a lot of people say they can't charge 14-year-olds as adults. We see that's not really true, right? Because all you have to do is call a special session on taxes and slide in a crime initiative, right? That's all you got to do. They figure out an end around to do anything that they want to do. So why is it that every time it's about what we want, it's always what we can't do, or no, they're not going to go for that. We can't. We have to start thinking about our language. We have to think about our mindset. And yes, guns don't kill people. People with guns are killing people. Yes, you're absolutely correct on that. But something has to be done when we are killing folk on par with wars with guns, right? There's no reason we should have almost 50,000 gun-related deaths in our country simply because we are afraid to have got common sense gun laws. Yes, you can own your gun, but you own your gun under these parameters. We take away your guns under these parameters. I don't know why that seems so strange, but what I can tell you is, we were talking about earlier, and even in the chat, we were talking about how there are no big mamas anymore. There's no real village keepers anymore. There's no real people who are standing up in community anymore. Well, I want to introduce to some of y'all. Some of y'all may know this group. But there's a group out of Detroit called the New Era Detroit, NED for short, acronym. It's a pro-Black organization formed to restore Black unity in Black communities in Detroit, as well as across the nation. This group first caught my attention in Detroit, 6 Mile, Detroit. Everybody knows 6 Mile because you listen to Eminem and you watch 8 Mile, so you know 6 Mile is close, right? So 6 Mile in Detroit. There was a store owner Store owner didn't look like the community, but the owners of the business were being very disrespectful to the citizens in the community. You know, this last case, there was a guy who had some mental issues, and he went into the store, the corner grocery store, and he took something valued at $1. The store owner came behind the man and shot multiple times at him for this item that cost $1. This was the second incident that New Era Detroit had addressed with the store owners, right? So this time, the second time, they decided to take all of the men from out of the community and shut the entire station down. They stopped the community from going in to purchase things. They stopped the community from getting gas. And the beauty of it was when the store owner called 911, the black chief of police, or whatever his position was, because he was some higher up person by his attire, he took the side of New Era Detroit. And the store right now to this moment is still closed. And so what that tells me is that there are people out here who are built to protect community. There are people out here who have the integrity to not sell out community. There are people out here who want to do right because it's the right thing to do. There are black men who want to protect black women and children in this country. The thing is to find your tribe. You got to go find the people who are actually about standing up and doing what's right for community because it's the right thing to do. And the reason they shut it down was because the first time they had the conversation with the store owner, they told him, look, if something is going on here that you feel is a threat to your business, here's our number. Call us. We'll have somebody out here in less than 2 minutes. We going to deal with our community. We don't want you picking up a gun, shooting at our residents, because we do know that there's a lot of unaddressed trauma and mental illness going on because people are hungry and starving and resources are few. So we going to pay for it, whatever. If they take it, we going to pay for it. We don't want you to kill them. That was the conversation the first time. So when this guy with mental illness showed up and took something valued at $1, it was $1. He took it. The store owner came out shooting, and the men from New Era Detroit showed up and shut the entire store down. Now, listen, I think, when we want radical outcomes, we have to have radical force behind the demands we're making. And sometimes it's about showing folk that community can take care of community, so there's no need to come in here and militarize us or over police us or police us in a way that is different from how you police other communities. There are black men who want to protect black women and children. There are black men who want to stand in protection of black community. You got to find your tribe. You have to find your tribe, because we can't count on, like the caller said, we can't count on the legislators to lobby us lobby us into common sense gun control. We can't depend on that. We can't depend on people treating us, with equity. Because the word fair, there's nothing fair. Equity. I learned there's no fairness in this world the hard way. And we're not looking for fair anymore. So, where are the New Era people in New Orleans, like the New Era people in Detroit? That's the tribe I'm looking for. I'm looking for the tribe that is going to hold each other accountable to stop this violence. Because if we could pull up on a gas station, we could pull up on black folk that's killing black folk, right? I'm looking for the tribe that's going to pull up on elected officials who are not servicing our communities the right way and let them know that these are our demands, and if you don't meet them, we're going to seat you. Yeah, that's the tribe I'm looking for. Where is New Era New Orleans, like we have in Detroit? If y'all find them, let them know I'm looking for them. We have to go to break because bills have to be paid, but we'll continue this conversation on the other side. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the Love Zone on WBOK 1230 a.m. and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. The Sewerage and Water Board has issued a boil water advisory for parts of New Orleans East. The impacted area includes Morrison Road and Hain Boulevard all the way to Paris Road. A drop in water pressure is to blame, but there's no word on what caused that to happen. If your home or business is under the advisory, boil your water for a full minute before using. At today's City Council meeting, Councilman Joe Giarrusso will put forward an ordinance that would split speed zone camera revenue 60-40 between the city and the Orleans Parish School Board. A new state law says that the city and school district must have an agreement to split the revenue before cameras can be activated. But here in New Orleans, the Cantrell administration turned them on anyway without such an agreement in place. Giarrusso says his focus now is on getting a revenue split in place ASAP so the city is in line with state law. And finally, good news if you have been craving crawfish. The LSU Ag Center tells WDSU that this season should be normal, with boiled crawfish already selling for around $7.50 a pound. This after a rough season last year that saw prices go as high as $14 a pound. Much of the issues last year were blamed on drought conditions. And that's today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU. Have a great day.
NOLA Public Schools' main round enrollment for kindergarten through 12th grade is now open. With 73 schools available through the NOLA Public Schools Common Application Process, or NCAP, finding the right school fit for your family is easier than ever. List up to 12 choices to maximize your chances and apply by January 24th. We're all in, and we hope you are too. Apply today at enrollnolaps.com. That's enrollnolaps.com.
Join the conversation Friday, December 20th. For Calvin Luster from Home Bank during the Good Morning Show at 8:30 a.m. Don't miss Calvin Luster from Home Bank live on the Good Morning Show Friday, December 20th at 8:30 a.m.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Sunday mornings are reserved for a good word on WBOK. This Sunday, be sure to catch Dr. Kevin Stevens Sr., the pastor of Christian Unity Church, for service and a powerful, full, inspiring word. Listen live every Sunday morning right here on WBOK.
New Schools for New Orleans would like to wish all of our city's educators and families a happy holidays. As you prepare, remember to connect with family and friends, reflect on the fall semester, and set new goals for the new year. We appreciate everything you do.
Hey, this is Norman Sanders with WBOK, letting you know to have a happy holiday.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
We are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Happy Thursday, everybody. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. My super producer, Nyron Sanders, is behind the glass, holding us all together. But in studio right now, I don't know if she came straight from the North Pole or anything, but she is in the holiday spirit. Miss Rosalie Martellero.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the Good Morning Show. Listen, if you cannot see her, she is Christmas down, okay? The hat, the sweater, the necklace. She looks really, really cute, y'all. I wish you can see it. But thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So can you tell us about the NOLA Christmas Fest? Because that's what you're here to talk about, right?
Yes.
It's 11th year?
Yes.
Talk to
it
us
is
about
our
that.
11th year. We are at the New Orleans Ernest N. Morial Convention Center. We are going to be open December 20th to December 30th. We will have ice skating and carnival rides, ice bocce, merry mini golf. We will have choirs performing. We will have appearances by Santa, the Grinch, and many more activities.
Many more activities. So is there a cost to
There's
attend
a
this
cost.
event?
It is $25 during the week and $30 on weekends. That includes 4.5 hours of fun because the sessions are 11:30 to 3:30, and then 11 to 3:30, and then 4:30 to 9, and then it includes your skate rental and unlimited carnival rides. And the only thing extra you have to pay for is if you want to buy any food or if you want to purchase any pictures or face painting.
So since we're in our 11th year, can you tell us what has evolved since the inception of the event?
Yes. Well, this year we have added a 4th ice slide, so less waiting time to get on, if that's one of your favorite activities like it is mine. And then last year we expanded the ice rink, so it's bigger and better than ever and more people can skate. And then this year we added a new ride called the Yuletide Yo-Yo, which is really fun. And we also added Merry Mini Golf. So just we keep adding more and more activities, and we listen to feedback and what our guests want to see, and we try to incorporate it.
Is Christmas your favorite holiday?
Oh, of course, I love it.
I can also see you being like Mrs. Claus. Have you ever been Mrs. Claus
They
before?
asked me to be, but
I know that.
maybe one day. We all, try to participate in different ways, so maybe one day.
So you talked briefly about this. The Big Freezy Ice Rink is a popular attraction. Can you share more about the ice skating experience and what makes it special for families?
Yes. Well, on the ice rink, we do have an ice skating ambassador, Sarah Zanoli, where if if it's been a couple of years since you've ice skated and you want, a private session to kind of get you up to speed again, you can meet with Sarah and do a lesson. And also, there's a nightly snowfall on the ice rink, so it looks very beautiful and magical because otherwise we'll never see snow in New Orleans.
Right,
so
rarely.
when they do it at night on the ice rink, and they have characters skating with the guests like elves and nutcrackers and things like that. So it's just wonderful for families to participate in.
Fun fact, I've never been ice skating.
Oh,
ever.
Maybe this will be the year.
Maybe this will be the year. So for folk who, like me, who've never done that, and they're looking for something a little bit more relaxed, tell us about the Polar Pub and its special events like the Saints versus Packers game and the Raiders versus the Saints. You have watch parties, right? For that?
Yes. So on the 23rd and the 29th, we will have Saints watch parties in the Polar Pub. The Polar Pub is fun because it's a place where adults can relax and have an eggnog daiquiri or a Grinch cocktail and kick back while the kids are ice skating. And so it overlooks the ice rink. So, I personally don't get on the ice, but I like to sit in the Polar Pub and watch my niece and nephew skate.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Now that I can do because I don't even know if I can stand up on ice skates. You know what I mean?
Right.
I barely. When you actually skate, you it's like riding a bike. It comes back to you. But that blade, there's something about that that's intimidating for me. And I don't know if I could do that. But I'm down for taking a lesson. Like I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah, she'll get you up to speed.
NOLA Christmas Fest has a reputation for offering something for all ages. What's the secret to balancing activities for kids and adults alike? Well, we talked about the pub. That's one way. But what's the secret?
Yeah. Well, just to have the variety that we have, because we have, if you want, we have a tiny tot zone for little kids. And then, like we said, the pub for people that just want to relax. But then all ages can enjoy the carnival rides because we have something simple like a Ferris wheel or a Ferris wheel. Or the Yuletide yo-yo if you want something more exciting. So there's just something for everyone.
And so we see that the event is cashless. That's important to remind folks. So we're not taking cash, but can you explain how that works and any tips for guests to prepare before they arrive?
Yes. So do not show up at the box office because, this is a popular event, so it could sell out. So you go to NOLAChristmasFest.com and purchase your ticket online. And then that way, if tickets are available, you can get a ticket. And then when you come to the convention center, there is a Park Mobile code that you have to enter and pay for your parking online as well. Then when you enter, the concessions vendors, that's cashless as well. So just bring your phone with tap to pay or bring your credit card.
Tap to pay. And I'm trying to figure out why everybody isn't equipped with tap to pay. Walmart doesn't accept tap to pay. Not that I go there anymore, but if you want me to scan my own groceries, the least you can do is
Exactly. And one of my credit cards doesn't have it. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
So for families planning to visit, what should they know about the ticketing system and the different session times that are available?
Yeah. So we are open on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Christmas Eve, it's earlier in the day, I think 11 to 3:30 on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day, it's going to be 5 to 9, I believe. So different hours on those days. But on the other days, we'll have the morning session, the afternoon session. So just check online before you come, make sure they have tickets available, and then purchase the ticket for your session.
And your ticket only covers that session. So
Correct.
if you wanted to go to the second session, you would
yeah,
have to purchase
because
another
they
ticket.
shut down in between to clean and reset. So they shut down from 3:30 to 4:30. So everyone steps out, and then you just need to purchase a ticket if you want to come.
So give us those dates again.
December 20th to 30th.
December 20th to 30th, and you can go to the NOLAChristmasFest.com.
Correct.
To purchase tickets. Also, there's a Skating with Santa event. Can you talk to us about
on
that?
Sunday, there is a special event called Skating with Santa. It's at 9:30 to 11 before the regular doors open. So an extra ticket is required. And so they'll have hot chocolate and they'll have donuts, and then we'll have Santa there skating with the kids. So if you want some personal one-on-one time to give Santa your wish list, this would be the time to do it.
And what about pictures with Santa? Are you guys offering like a picture photo session?
Yes. The times are listed on the website, and that is an additional fee. But yes, Santa will make appearances if the kids want to come. I also want to say families like to come in their matching PJs and get pictures. We have a giant gingerbread house and a giant tree. That's the perfect backdrop if families want to come and take a family picture in their matching PJs.
I don't know, but it's just something about like you just give me like these like cozy, like your house is the house to be at on Christmas morning, right?
Okay, this morning.
So can you explain how guests can plan ahead for parking and other logistics during the event, especially with the popularity of the fest?
Yes. Well, one thing I do want to mention is we are in the same building as the Louisiana Civil Rights Museum. So they're located near Julia Street, near Lobby A, and then NOLA Christmas Fest is down by J. But some people may want to make a day of it and start off the morning and go to the Louisiana Civil Rights Museum. They are open from 9 to 4, Tuesday through Sunday. So start off the day and get some education, and then make your way down to NOLA Christmas Fest and have some fun. So, it's just while you're down there and parking, you could do both activities.
So is there any sort of like code for any sort of discounts, maybe for families that have multiple kids? Is there any way to benefit from?
So our sponsor, Coca-Cola, is offering a $5 Coke discount, but it's kind of like a scavenger hunt. You have to find in the stores where that promotion is being held. So we're not advertising it online. It's just if you are in the store and you see the promotion, that's how you can find it.
So, so it's an additional like fun thing to do is to go and look for that discount from Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
So in addition to the Festive Fun, visitors can also explore the Louisiana Civil Rights Museum at the Convention Center. How do you see this exhibit complementing the holiday festivities at the NOLA Christmas Fest?
Yes. So, kids are off of school, or, they can come and have an educational activity before spending the day, doing fun things. So it's just an opportunity for families to come and experience that together and talk about it, and then go on to NOLA Christmas Fest.
And is there a cost to get into the Louisiana
It's
Civil Rights
$7
Museum?
for the Civil Rights Museum.
So have you guys thought about maybe partnering somehow? If you have a ticket for the Civil Rights
That
Museum, it gives
is
you
a great
something off the
idea.
Christmas
That
Fest?
would be a great idea.
You know
I'm
what I
going to
mean?
go back and pitch that.
Something, because if I want,
right, like show your ticket.
Yeah, because as an educator, I would be interested in going to the Louisiana Civil Rights Museum. But I have a godson who's 3, so I know he would probably want to do the Christmas Fest.
Right, and
so
while
if there
you're
was
down
a
there,
way,
might as well do both.
Yeah,
right.
If there's a way to
Right.
maybe if I attend the museum, I get something off the fest, or if I attend the fest,
I'm
I
going
get
to
something
pitch
off
that
the museum.
as soon as I
I'm
get
always
back.
just thinking of ways to
No,
save
I
money
think that's
because
great. Yeah.
So for those interested in history, what can they expect to see at the Louisiana Civil Rights Museum, and how does the exhibit highlight the unique civil rights journey of Louisiana?
So there are interactive exhibits about Louisiana civil rights leaders, and you can go in and since it's interactive, you experience the voices of the people who were directly involved, and you can experience it as if you were in that time frame. So, it's just very educational, and they also have some art pieces related to Louisiana civil rights that, people will enjoy viewing it.
As you were speaking about that, right, I was thinking, I'm wondering if they'll have, because I went to the one in D.C., like in Washington, right? And so there's the Woolworth counter, where you can put your hands down and then you put the headphones on. And it actually simulates like the kicking and the screaming and the yelling. And I'm wondering if interactively there's something that mirrors that here. Because, Louisiana, like I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Does it get that interactive,
Yeah.
or can you just hear
It's
stories?
more you hear the stories.
Okay.
But eventually this is just kind of the inaugural Civil Rights Museum exhibit. Eventually in the River District, they plan to have a standalone, and they will expand the offerings at that time. And they probably will incorporate other exhibits like what you were describing.
So can you tell us anything that's a can't miss? Like if I get my ticket and I come to the NOLA Christmas Fest, what are you telling me, Dr. Wyatt, you have to go and see this?
Yeah. Well, I would say definitely the ice skating, because we're New Orleans, we're the only ice rink in the area. So, as far as I know, you have to go an hour or so outside of New Orleans to do any kind of ice skating. So this is your only chance to ice skate. So if you're into that, I would not miss it. You might like, you said you weren't into ice skating, but you might like the ice slides, which I love because that's so much fun just to slide down. Ice bocce. And really,
ice bite. Now you can't just slide past that. What's that?
Yeah, it's an Italian game, and so this is the ice version.
Why was I thinking hibachi like food?
Oh no!
That's
Oh,
fat girl behavior.
You keep giving me great ideas
big
to pitch.
Behavior right there. Like how did I just? I don't know how I did that. But what you didn't mention, mini golf. You guys have mini golf?
Yes. So we have 2 kind of interactive activities. One is called Train Like an Elf, and it's an obstacle course where you have to, crawl and go under nets and things like that, like an obstacle course. And then the Merry Mini Golf is 9 holes of mini golf.
I'm excited about mini golf. Now, I don't know if I'm good at it. I'm learning how to play golf, and I'm learning how to shoot pool.
Oh.
But golf, surprisingly, I was better at it than a novice, would be. But I'm excited about mini golf because it's just fun. It's just fun to do.
Yeah.
And then, we're getting ready to have that Top Golf put out here.
Yes.
So we can warm up our engines at the mini golf at the Christmas, the NOLA Christmas Fest.
Yeah.
So tell me this, how can people find more information or purchase tickets for NOLA Christmas Fest?
NOLAChristmasFest.com. That will have all of the schedules. It'll have a list of where to eat. It'll have information about skating with Santa. That's your resource for anything. And we have like a interactive chat bot where you can, ask questions and it'll, give you prices and things like that.
And what's the secret to balancing like the activities for the kids and adults? Because again, my son is 19 years old. He's probably not going to want to do this, but my godson is 3. He's going to lose his whole mind at something like this. But then I don't want to do how do you balance that aside from like us sitting at the pub and kind of just watching them? What's the balance there?
Well, I like the carousel with the animals that go up and down. And so that's not...
I forgot you said there were like carnival-like rides and stuff.
Right.
Okay.
And then like the Ferris wheel, like those are 2 things that would be good for a 3-year-old. The Tiny Tot Zone would be good. And then, for the older kids or adults, the ice skating. But the carnival rides, there's a variety of them. They have some that are really that'll blow your wig off. And then they have some that are calm. So there's something for every age level. Like I don't ice skate and I don't go on fast rides, but I still use up the whole
ride.
Yeah. But
Rosalie.
There's enough for me.
Yeah. I don't know what that is about me, but it's the unknown thing. Like when you go all the way up and you waiting to drop down.
Right.
It's something about that moment.
Right.
And what I love about my kid is he inherited that gene from me because
a thrill seeker.
Yes, when we go to the amusement parks, we're the people who get the easy pass where you can go to the front.
Right.
And we're running from one ride. I don't know if I want to do it now, but when he was younger, he probably wouldn't even want to hang with me now that he's 19 years old. But when he was 6, 7, 8, it was the thing to do. And so I miss him being that small, which is why I think I dote so much on my godson because I only have one child. But my age now, as opposed to when I gave birth to my son, I feel like I'm just in a better position to parent better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's so many things I want to do with my son all over again that I get to do with my godson. So thank you for this sort of event where there's some stuff for children and adults alike.
Yeah, brings out the inner child.
And you're the best representative to go around talking about this because I promise you, if people have never met you, if they're not in the holiday spirit, they will be once you walk into the room. So as we wrap up, what's one thing you hope everyone takes away from their experience at NOLA Christmas Fest?
Well, I just hope they spend time making memories with their family because, I go with my niece and nephew every year and that's bonding time and just pictures, family pictures. And, it's unforgettable memory-making moments with your family.
Listen, and we're going to give that website one more time. We're going to give the date one more time and the cost.
NOLAChristmasFest.com, December 20th to 30th, $25 during the week and $30 on weekends.
And we're also going to look into that scavenger hunt for that $5
yes
Coca-Cola coupon. So listen, if you're in the stores, beware, be on the lookout. There's a $5 off Coca-Cola.
Check the Coke aisle every time you go to the store.
They're not going to advertise it, guys. So you kind of just, when you're picking up your drinks, you might find a $5 off coupon so that you can attend the NOLA Christmas Fest. Well, I do want to thank you for spending part of your morning with us. You look so lovely.
Oh, thank you.
You make me want to go and pour some
Be
hot
sure to
chocolate.
dress up and take pictures with your family.
and watch a Hallmark Christmas movie. That's the energy you're giving,
Oh.
right? It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But thank you again for being here.
Thank
it's
you so
NOLA
much.
Christmas Fest, guys. NOLAChristmasFest.com. You can log on, purchase your tickets. It's $25 during the week, $30 during the weekend. There's a $5 coupon somewhere in the city on the Coke product. Go out and find it. And if you want to ice skate, ride on some carousel rides, sit in a pub and watch the Saints game, the convention center is the place to be on those dates. What are those dates?
December 20th to 30th.
December 20th to 30th. We're going to take a break to pay some bills, but when we come back, we're going to finish the conversation. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
This is your news update for WBOK 1230 AM from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Expect to see gradually clearing skies. Today is cooler than yesterday, partly cloudy this afternoon with highs in the mid-60s, so near average for this time of the year. Winds 5 to 10 miles per hour from the north. Tonight, partly cloudy, lows in the 40s. 60s again for Friday, but even cooler this weekend with highs in the 50s as another front passes. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven
Why pay
Richard.
more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
Join the conversation Friday, December 20th, with Calvin Luster from Homebank during the Good Morning Show at 8:30 a.m. Don't miss Calvin Luster from Homebank live on the Good Morning Show Friday, December 20th at 8:30 a.m.
WBOK and LCMC Health are proud to present the Keeping You Well Cafe, 60 minutes of LCMC Health, where doctors speak directly to the people of New Orleans. LCMC Health is committed to improving the quality of health care in the New Orleans area, the Gulf South, and beyond. The Keeping You Well Cafe is another way for LCMC Health to engage with the community. Over the next few months, LCMC Health will join WBOK and local businesses to answer your health and wellness questions. Through this partnership, LCMC Health will provide resources to the community, including subject matter experts from the hospitals that will share expertise on health concerns and wellness practices to help you live your best life. Tune in to WBOK during the last hour of the reality check, or catch us at lcmchealth.org and follow us on social media.
Greetings, WBOK family. This is Jason Clark, host of United Way and You. Be sure to tune in next Thursday at 12 p.m. when we'll be speaking with Melanie Richardson, co-founder and executive director of Training Grounds, a United Way funded partner. The topic will be the We Play, We Connect Family Resource Hub. Please tune in if you're able. Until then, we only have one life to live, so live united.
Tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon to What's Growing New Orleans, hosted by Angel Vanderpool. What's Growing New Orleans is a weekly conversation about developing and growing Black businesses throughout the region. Brought to you by the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce.
Keep up with NOLA Public Schools through Education Elevation. Education Elevation will highlight the achievements, innovations, and contributions of scholars, educators, schools, and the district. Tune in every fourth Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. for engaging conversations and updates as we strengthen connections and support the needs of our scholars. Mark your calendars for every fourth Wednesday at 11:30 a.m.
This is Norman Robinson off the top. Happy holidays. Be safe and keep it festive.
Hey, everybody. It's Kimber White Dupree.
And it's Graylin Bryant Banks from the front porch. We're coming up next.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 1230 AM.
are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. My super producer, Nyra Sanders, is behind the glass holding us all together. I want to thank our guest, Miss Rosalie Montalaro from the NOLA Christmas Fest, which is happening December 20th to December 30th. The cost of $25 during the weekend, $30 on the weekends. There's also a $5 coupon somewhere in the city that Coca-Cola is sponsoring. And you know I love WBOK because if you're not in the chat, you need to be, because that's where the real conversations are happening. Shout out to Miss Alicia Plummer and Joshua Edmond and Miss Jacqueline Wilmore. Got the comment section jumping. But on line one is Don. Good morning, Don. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning. And I just wanted to say, when you had the conversation about culture, remember volunteer hour, when you had the people volunteering into the culture economy,
yes,
a volunteer hour is valued at 4 times the rate as a normal minimum wage hour. And donate, it has a very profound ripple effect economically. But I wanted to ask you a question. Someone declared, is this open season for declaring for the mayoral race already?
Well, I'm sorry, say your question again, Don.
Is the mayoral race for New Orleans open?
It seems to be. There's already been at least one candidate that has made her candidacy public. There are other people who have soft launch candidacies, but she's the only person who has declared for that seat out in the open, no questions asked. And we're actually going to talk about that the last 8 minutes of the show, Don.
Okay. Well, I nominate Cedric Richmond, young man, politically astute.
Mm-hmm.
I nominate Cedric Richmond for mayor of New Orleans.
Well, if he's listening, we'll see if he'll take you up on that challenge.
Okay.
We appreciate you, Don. Thank you for your call.
All right, thank you.
All righty. Listen, we have Miss Denise on line 2. Good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Happy Risings. Happy Risings. How is everybody?
We're great.
Okay, good. I did hear Councilman Green. He's not there. He's on the phone.
No. Councilman Green was on the phone yesterday with us.
Oh, dog. I thought I heard something. Okay. Anyway,
No, it's okay. Do you have a question or a comment for him? I can make certain that I relay it to him for you.
Both.
Okay.
And OT knows that I've been in city council.
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken with Eugene Green, Helena Marino, and all the other people that sit in those seats, whether it's about the poor housing or low-income housing that's not for people that's homeless. Because, I mean, it's low-income homeless. They should be able to live in these places. I'm concerned. I have how is it you are a city council person? And, yeah, you could have side jobs and other jobs, but you're a city council person and you're dealing and selling real estate and homes that's on the Section 8 program, and they're failing and they're molded and they're mildew. How is it that the city council people can own these homes and put them on the Section 8 program and they're failing?
Well, that's absolutely something that is worth asking publicly, because we need a public answer. Because if we're talking about the guy Bruno and labeling him a slumlord and going after him, we surely can't have people who are sitting on bodies that are supposed to work to the benefit of their constituency also being slumlords. And so if that is happening and it's an issue, we need to bring it out.
On yesterday, I don't mean to cut you off, but I saw a post on Noonan Man Baptiste's page where Eugene Green is sold a home or a lot or somewhere and allowed somebody to build a home on that lot, and a little spacewalk. That's a little walk in front just that home.
Ms. Denise, I could assure you that I'm going to ask that question for you. He was on yesterday, but we do conversations with the council each week. So whomever comes, it doesn't have to necessarily be Eugene Green. I could even ask OT when we sit next to each other. But we need to ask those questions and hold folk accountable. I absolutely will bring that up. You have my word on that, and I'll give you the answer.
Thing I have to state, Kimber, the lighting. This light. Entergy came out here one day last week and cut the lights off without our knowledge twice, a Monday and a Tuesday. On a Tuesday evening, later that evening, AT&T trucks are out here testing with the same poles Entergy just messed with. Now, this light in front of my daughter's house, it doesn't come on anymore. But it used to. They're darkening these streets and they're putting lights where they need streets. Where it's all lit up, there's filming and shooting and movie productions and big companies and trucks right down the street with all the lighting. But it's dark right here.
Those are very fair issues.
They took almost 2 years. They took almost 2 or 3 years to pave that whole side of that street over there on the opposite side of Cajun Joe's. Right here in front of my daughter's home, a hole the size of a swimming pool. And I can't get code enforcement. I'm talking to Mr. Keith. I'm talking to Dave at Code Enforcement. They're doing what they want to do, and they're doing it for certain people. So to me, this is somebody with money who thinks they can do whatever they want to do and repair whatever they want to repair and leave us stuck in the hole.
I'm definitely going to bring it up and ask for you.
We better wake up.
Thank you, Miss Denise. Happy holidays
All right,
to you.
Thank you.
We have a caller on line one. Good morning, John. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Hey, good morning. I just caught the last 10 minutes of your show. I'm going to tell you this here. If we vote wrong on who's going to be the mayor, good morning, how you doing?
Good morning.
We vote, and family out there, listen, we vote wrong who's going to become the mayor in this city. I'm going to just say this. Look at L.A., Watts, Compton, Bakersfield, South Central, predominantly black. Not predominantly black anymore. And this could hail like a flag that, hey, come this way. Remember what I said about the conversation? In 10 more years, we'll probably be a minority. And I'd say in about 20 more years, your son wouldn't even recognize this city. And we'll probably be about a solid 30, maybe 35% because of the blacks that still may own their property outright and are able to pass it on. We'll probably be just like in Los Angeles and everywhere, maybe that solid 30%. But we won't be the majority, so we better watch how we vote. And Cedric Richmond, I've been doing some background checking on him, man. That cat is a boule, brother.
He's a what?
Part of that black boule. He's part
Okay.
of that black boule, like the Congressional Black Talkers and all those who get really nothing meaningful truly done. You know, they wishy-washy on a lot of things, but they give the image of doing something. But he's part of the boule class. And enjoy your day, family.
Thank you, John. Appreciate you. Listen, I wanted to talk about something the last 8 minutes of the show, but the callers took over, and I had to make space for them. But what I will say is this. New Orleans is at a precipice, right? We're at a fork in the road, and we have to figure out what our identity is. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. We could either be who we say we are, or we can be what they've turned us into. And that is predicated on how and who we vote to represent us. And it's up to you. The mayoral race will be a defining moment for the city of New Orleans. And I implore everybody to do your homework. No longer is it okay to vote for people simply because they show up black. No longer is it okay to simply vote for people because you recognize their last name. No longer is it okay to vote for people because they gave you a turkey on Thanksgiving when they could have given you resources and opportunities so you could buy your own turkey. We have to be serious about the business of this city, or when you look up, you worried about gentrification, there won't be anything left of New Orleans to gentrify because you will not recognize her. She will be lost in the NOLA sauce. That's all I'm going to say. So understand who you're voting for, understanding what they bring to the table, understand who's getting results for you, whether you like what they look like or not, whether you believe they're working in your best interest or not. Look at the outcomes of your community. Look at the streets in your neighborhood. Look at the lighting in your neighborhood. Look at the businesses in your neighborhood. And then you tell me, do you want to vote for more of that, or do you want a difference to be made in your quality of living? So we don't know yet the full gambit of people who are running. All we know is one person has declared candidacy for that seat. When the rest of the names make themselves noted, then we have to start doing our homework, and we have to collectively get behind somebody, and we have to get them elected because they work for us. Gone are the days that popularity wins this thing. We need somebody who's going to work on behalf of New Orleans. Y'all stay tuned for the Front Porch up next with Graylin and Kimber. And until tomorrow, I am Dr. Ashanta White, and this is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.